It's my distinguished pleasure to welcome you here in our first China Business Summit. As a Pan-Asian business leadership organization, ASEAN is honored to present to you this event along with Global China Connection. We expect to bring an array of professional views on China's business environment and thus facilitate in-depth conversation between university students and professionals. In the morning session, we already talked about some trends in China's economy. In the afternoon session, we will focus more on China's public policies, business environment, and capital market. We'll start with a keynote speech presented by Mr. Zhulin Gu. Mr. Gu is currently working in Bank of America as a senior consultant with over 15 years of experience for medical claims and payment processing and related systems. Mr. Gu is also Vice President of Association of Chinese Professionals in Atlanta, as well as Vice President of World Trade Center in Atlanta. Devoted to the friendship between USA and China, Mr. Gu has made good contribution in promoting cooperation exchange in science and technology, economy and culture and talents. With that, let me hand it over to Mr. Gu.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Xu. I was contacted about 2 weeks ago, and Mr. Xu asked gave a presentation talking about the overall. I think it was a topic about China, public policy in the business environment. That I said, well, I'll try my best where I've been working on the area. So I just put together the area that I've been focused on and also been working on for past 10 years. That I think I'm not only researching for China area. I'm trying to give some, the idea that I've been working on between U.S. and China for the past 10 years, and I just want, just discuss something. Would like share that the thing I have experienced. Thank you. Well, I guess most of people. How many people here have been China before? Hands up. Well, I guess it's probably 2/3 of people with China connection or been China before. I guess lots of you students here from America. And actually, this one when Mr. Xu called me a week ago was kind of rushed. So this actually is based on the presentation I gave to USC their business school 2 years ago. So based on that, I did a good amount of research. So I modified the version I gave to the University of South Carolina there. So I put this version for Emory here. So, and I think just my speech is primarily focused on the technology and innovation area, where I think because I went back China in the last year about 3 or 4 times, and the demand and trade for innovation and technology exchange between those two countries is great. So my focus, I think, and also the requirement of the demands, and also I think Emory, such a reputation institute is good for, I just discussed this topic. So I put this one where I think will be kind of interesting. And I think that's, first off, that the past 10 years, the Chinese renminbi, its value is increased every year. So past 10 years, it's been increased over 15%, but they predict still have 20% more of the appreciation. And so, and also that because the past couple of years that the salary or the cap, it's increasing lots, especially in the coast area. The labor parts cost is increasing a lot. So, and plus the labor law, lots of regulation procedures, the country is put in place. So, cost, and also the lots of company manufacturing, they are their trade, and most of their trade related. I think China GDP wise, the trade is a very high percentage. especially in the coastal area where I visited. Last year I visited about a dozen cities, and I see the demands there. And you can see because of the renminbi, it's rate increasing, and also that the labor, the cost is increasing, and the entrepreneur, you can see the margin, the profit margin is getting very, very tiny, especially. And then I think some people you might know that last year there are lots of company, they cannot run because the spatial environment. I think later on some speaker might be addressed a little bit about the Chinese the private sectors. The company is very hard to get loan from because most of banks owned by the government, and they predict over 90% of their loan goes to government-owned companies. Right? So, but there's lots of trading small is happening at the private sectors. But they got less than 10% loan. So last year, those companies very hard for them to continue running their business. They are, they cannot continue. So that happened last year. Lots of problem with the coastal area, forcing the company exit or bankruptcy, whatever. And there are lots of called underground money market. They are running, loaning, but kind of right now I think China is regulating this area. So we will see there's a lot, but I'm not an expert in this area. I see lots of this conflict interests. So that's the thing, and also that one more thing is that I'm experiencing a lot is the Chinese market, especially the coastal, well-developed area. Traditionally they are labor-intensive. The OME, and also they are, trade with the margins based on the lower tech. We say most of the product service is low tech. But you can see the margin very lower. But because of the fact I just discussed, so the government actually they are pounding lots of investment money in the R&D area, and they predict in the next and also something interesting. Lots of private companies, they are also willing to upgrade their technology. They are also together with government, they want to put lots of money in the R&D and also improve upgrade their technology from traditional trade and OME style. And here is about seeing talking about US, and I just want to see how the things get connected. And most people know here we got the economic crisis since 2008. In the past 3 or 4 years, the unemployment rate is a 2-digit, and now it's a little bit better than like a year or 2 ago. And but the things like nannies in the past 10 years, the U.S. leading the IT information highway, and also lots of and we're talking about what's the next wave. And so that's where I have my topic here. The next is innovation. I believe that biotech and nanotech will lead the next the trend. And later on, we'll show statistics. Currently, like the U.S. holds about 70% of patent technology that cannot be realized. So there's lots of potential coordination for that area. And that's why always I have lots of questions when I have a conference, whatever, and for U.S. companies, they are seeking China partnership coordination. That's I think 9 out of 10 my friends or network, if they want to go to China, they do the business. Doing business with China, I host several events in World Trade Center past couple of years, and their first concern, yes, because we're talking technology, right? We're talking upgrade, and how can we work this out? And the thing is that because it's known like years or many years ago that the area that for example Microsoft they say China total number of sales is less than a small country in Europe. So think about that the IP protection is it's not. But I believe past especially since China joined WTO, the country did lots of enforcement, and I think they are making lots of adjustment to compliance with the IP and the international laws. So I believe that's still the way it's still the government is getting better. And every year I see lots of action to take about. And here's the comparison about, it was a 2009 statistics, it was 2 years ago. You can see the difference. China right now is international, we're talking international. Internally, China's number of patent filed is pretty large number. I think number 1 or number 2, just behind US. But the international patent we are talking about is a little bit less than, I think last year's number is close to 10,000. But you can see the large gap. We had the conference last week with the Technology Council from the Embassy of DC. We discussed about the huge gap here. You see, US total international patent filed in 2009 close to 160,000. So the ratio, you see the big gap here. So I would say that's the area I see the future collaboration, and because of lots of patents that in my previous slides I mentioned that over 70% patent that they locked, they cannot be used, realized. But I would say some areas sensitive, but some is very good, especially on promoting energy and this kind of environment protection products very benefits for all the people, and especially the business for both nations. So I would say that's the area I'm right now promoting hard on both countries for the lots of patent could be realized into as a, and that's a status that the China status says R&D was the number I got. There was 2009 is 1.35% GDP, and they are trying to increase 2.3 in next 5 years. So it's that number is it's catching up as the developed countries, and but there's a lots of the structure-wise and overall-wise, most of R&D, I would say 95% R&D, the center or infrastructure run by the government. But the government also encouraging the private sectors joining this area. Not like, I don't have the number what's the percentage US the private run the R&D center versus government, but I believe that in the US the private area is very, very aggressive. So that's the area, and for example, like Georgia Tech and Emory, there's lots of innovations, lots of great ideas and patents that could be realized. So I'm right now also just work on my channel promoting. It's possible one day Emory could work with the China kind of R&D funding. We can work jointly. I'm right now promoting one with Georgia Tech with one of the funding in China. See, we can jointly work out something. That's the area that I think there are lots of room to grow. Besides the others, this is the other thing I just want. Since that's Emory, right? We were talking about the education and opportunities. That China is because of one-child policy. So most of parents will, have their kids' education in the US, and since 2009, the number of international students, the percentage you can see here, that China is increasing, and that's also with back to like 20 years ago when I get here, it's about 99% the graduate student finish our in China come here for graduate studies, but here now since 2009, I think undergraduate students percentage much more, the base is larger than graduate students, and even high school they start earlier, so. That's also, I would say, opportunity between US and China. And also we're talking about the PhD student enrollment university. I think it's about the comparison for number of students, worldwide comparison, 2009 statistics. Lastly, I will just briefly, we can discuss after called the thing I work on promoting between US and China, a couple of things. Right now, probably I'm leading delegation visiting both countries, and I focus on the business matchmaking and also the new idea, innovation, and the patent, and lots of things. I think that's a lot of room to work out. Some of the things that work on, and also that one of the city as asked me to set up a center here, Wenzhou. I think people, if they in China, know Wenzhou is getting popular. That's the Chamber of Commerce, like Jewish people here. There are lots of private in the fund. So last year I visited Wenzhou in November, so stayed there a couple of days. So they said they asked me to help them set up such a center there. And I think next week we try to do some kind of investment and see where we can work out something. And some of the delegation are leading between US and China in the past couple of years. That's attend the Shouju International the energy saving and environment protection. We went there 3 times, 2007, 2008, 2009. And also that we hosted the Chinese New Year Business Forum at the World Trade Center past since 2005. So I think we can coordinate in the future if we can do, Chinese New Year, we do this business forum in World Trade Center for past, if anyone interested, we can discuss after. And those kind of matchmaking example between US and China, we did for the Detroit one project we sat down there 2 years ago. And that's a Chinese delegation visiting Swan here for environment protection delegation. We had the conference and we had delegation here. I think later we can discuss that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Hu, for the inspiring speech. Next, we'll have a panel discussion getting into more depth and details in China's business background, public policies, and capital market. Now it's my